Diplomacy, overview of departments of state/foreign ministries. Foreign ministries, also known as the departments of state in some countries like the United States, are the principal institutions responsible for managing a country's external relations and diplomacy. These ministries are tasked with formulating foreign policy, representing the nation abroad, and fostering international relations through diplomacy. Their structure, functions, and role in global affairs are central to a country's influence on the world stage. 1. Structure of foreign ministries/departments of state. A leadership and governance. At the helm of a foreign ministry is typically the foreign minister, or secretary of state in the U.S., who is responsible for setting the overall direction of foreign policy and acting as the country's primary representative in international matters. They are often members of the national cabinet and work closely with the head of state or government. In the United States, the Secretary of State is the chief diplomat, managing the diplomatic corps and overseeing policy areas such as international relations, trade, and consular affairs. Similarly, the Foreign, Commonwealth and Development Office, FCDO, in the United Kingdom combines diplomacy and development to manage international relations and global challenges. The deputy ministers or undersecretaries, such as the U.S. Deputy Secretary of State, play crucial roles in overseeing specific domains like economic affairs, political relations, or consular services. These roles are essential for the day-to-day execution of foreign policy. B. Divisions and regional/functional units. Foreign ministries are structured into various divisions that specialize in different regions of the world and specific thematic areas of diplomacy. For example, 1. Geographic divisions. These are dedicated to managing diplomatic relations within specific regions, for example, Americas, Europe, Asia-Pacific, etc. 2. Functional divisions. These areas handle particular diplomatic issues such as economic affairs, trade relations, cultural diplomacy, human rights, and security affairs. Each division is responsible for a certain set of diplomatic priorities, and these roles enable ministries to conduct both bilateral, country-to-country, and multilateral, within international organizations like the United Nations, diplomacy effectively. See embassies and consulates. Foreign ministries also manage a network of embassies, consulates, and other diplomatic missions abroad. These are typically headed by ambassadors or consuls who represent the country's interests, protect the rights of nationals abroad, and facilitate economic, political, and cultural exchanges. Public diplomacy is an increasingly important function of foreign ministries, aimed at influencing global opinion and promoting the nation's culture and values through exchanges, media outreach, and educational programs. The FCDO in the UK and US State Department's Bureau of Educational and Cultural Affairs, ECA, are examples of bodies dedicated to public diplomacy. D. Administrative support units. Foreign ministries are supported by a range of internal divisions, such as 1. Legal affairs. These units handle international treaties, conventions, and legal disputes between nations. 2. Protocol units, responsible for maintaining diplomatic protocol, managing state visits, and ensuring proper diplomatic procedures. 2. Functions of foreign ministries/departments of state. The core functions of a foreign ministry include policy formulation, diplomatic representation, consular services, crisis management, and engagement with international organizations. Let's break down these core functions. A. Policy formulation and diplomacy. Foreign ministries are responsible for formulating and implementing foreign policy. This involves 1. Shaping a nation's global agenda. Foreign policy is primarily shaped through consultations with other governmental bodies, such as national security or defense agencies. 1. It reflects national priorities related to peace, trade, security, and international cooperation. 2. Bilateral diplomacy. Ministries facilitate diplomatic engagements with individual countries, from peace negotiations to trade agreements. 3. Multilateral diplomacy. They also represent the country's interests in broader international organizations, such as the United Nations, World Trade Organization, WTO, and regional bodies like NATO or the African Union. Through diplomatic missions, embassies, and consulates, foreign ministries interact directly with foreign governments to advocate for the country's policy objectives. B. Consular services. The vital function of foreign ministries is ensuring the safety and well-being of nationals abroad. Key responsibilities include: 1. Issuing passports and visas. Foreign ministries handle the issuance of passports to citizens and visas for foreigners wishing to visit the country. 2. Assisting nationals in crisis. Ministries provide support in cases of emergencies abroad, for example, evacuations, arrests, natural disasters, or terrorist attacks. 3. Repatriation. In extreme cases, ministries assist in repatriating citizens in distress, often through consulates or embassies. C. Crisis management. Foreign ministries play an essential role in managing international crises, which could range from natural disasters to geopolitical conflicts. Their roles include: 1. Diplomatic negotiation, handling situations like wars, territorial disputes, or peace treaties. 2. Humanitarian efforts. Ministries coordinate relief efforts and work with international organizations during humanitarian crises, for example, refugee resettlement, famine relief. 3. International conflict resolution. As experienced in the Middle East and Africa, ministries negotiate ceasefires, peace agreements, and involvement in conflict resolution processes. D. Treaty and agreement negotiations. Foreign ministries are responsible for: 1. Negotiating international treaties. These include trade agreements, environmental protocols, for example, Paris Agreement, and security arrangements, for example, arms control treaties. 2. International representation. Representing the country in international conferences and forums to negotiate resolutions and agreements that align with national interests. E. Intelligence and reporting. Foreign ministries also play a role in gathering and analyzing information about international developments that affect national interests. This could include political changes, economic trends, or security threats. Ministries use a network of diplomats, intelligence officers, and local staff to gather data, which is then relayed to the government to help shape policy decisions. F. Public diplomacy. Increasingly, foreign ministries engage in public diplomacy, using cultural programs, international media, and digital platforms to improve their country's image abroad. This helps shape public opinion, especially in regions where the country is not well known or has negative associations. 3. The role of foreign ministries in global governance. Foreign ministries are integral to a country's participation in global governance. 1. Multilateral diplomacy. Foreign ministries are central to shaping and enforcing international laws and norms within global institutions like the United Nations and World Trade Organization. 2. Climate change and global cooperation. As exemplified by the Paris Agreement on Climate Change, foreign ministries coordinate efforts to address transnational issues, from environmental sustainability to global health. 4. Evolution of foreign ministries. Foreign ministries have evolved significantly in recent decades, adapting to the changing landscape of global diplomacy. The rise of digital communication, the increasing importance of public diplomacy, and the demand for swift responses to global crises are transforming the traditional roles of foreign ministries. The U.S. Department of State, for example, has seen a shift toward digital diplomacy with the use of social media and online platforms to engage international audiences and exert soft power. Similarly, the UK's FCDO integrates development with diplomatic relations, reflecting broader trends of global interconnectedness and a growing recognition of non-state actors in international relations. Conclusion. Foreign ministries or departments of state serve as the backbone of a country's diplomatic apparatus, tasked with formulating foreign policy, representing the nation abroad, ensuring the welfare of citizens abroad, and engaging in multilateral diplomacy. By maintaining relationships with foreign governments, managing international agreements, and providing consular support, these ministries are essential in shaping a country's role on the global stage. The continued evolution of diplomacy, through public diplomacy, digital engagement, and crisis management, demands that foreign ministries adapt to meet new challenges in the 21st century. Understanding their functions and structure is key to comprehending how modern diplomacy operates in an increasingly interconnected world.